to Laurel Canyon Kitchen. I'm holistic chef Nikki here with my guest, Justice Shelton-Mosley. And today we're going to talk football.
Yeah.
And then we're going to get in the kitchen.
I love that. That's a good combo there.
Yeah.
Football in the kitchen.
So I love your story. So you were at Harvard, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And then you transferred to Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
And then you went into the NFL with the Chiefs.
Yeah. Not the traditional path to the NFL, through Harvard, where you'll have like a few players that are in the NFL. But, got the chance to go to Vanderbilt and also go to grad school and play in the SEC. But, yeah, and then got the chance to go to the Kansas City Chiefs, which was a ton of fun.
And you played wide receiver,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I played wide receiver. And also was a punt returner, kick returner.
I do.
Okay.
So
all right, so we have football
I'm waiting
background
to surprise you. So I used to play football.
Really?
I played full tackle American football.
Are you serious?
In a women's league.
In a women's league?
Yeah.
What league?
I played for the Lingerie Football League.
Okay, that was the first thing that popped into my mind. So this is a great surprise.
The thing is, we looked like a joke, but we were real.
No, you guys didn't look like a joke.
We were
and
gnarly.
Disclaimer, I only watched it like maybe one time.
Yeah.
But wow, that's incredible. So what did you play? You're a quarterback.
Well, so they originally put me on offensive line because of my height. Because as a woman, they're like, oh, you should block.
Yeah.
But I was really bored playing offense because growing up, I was in track and field, and I'm more of a sprinter.
Yeah.
I'm really fast. So I thought, well, then put me wide receiver because I'm really tall and lanky, and I'm fast. So I tried a bunch of different positions. So first I was right guard on offense. And then I got bored playing
this is serious.
offense. Yeah.
You're a celebrity.
No.
This is amazing.
It was a lot of fun. I played in the first national season.
Yeah, of course.
And my team actually won the national championship in Miami.
Is there a trophy?
Yes, there's a trophy.
Is it here?
No.
You have a ring? You have to have something.
We didn't get a ring. I know we just got a little money. But it was a lot of fun, and unfortunately, I got tendonitis in my hip flexor.
Oh, wow.
Like 2 weeks before our Super Bowl game, the Lingerie Bowl. So I got cleared to play like 2 days before the game, and the offense coach wouldn't let me fly. Like wouldn't even bench me.
Who were the coaches?
So my offense coach was like a former Pop Warner coach who didn't have a lot of experience. My defense coach played for the Raiders.
Okay.
And he was a Polynesian guy, like so awesome. And he's the one who made me fall in love with football because that's why I ended up playing defense, was because he was teaching me like the tactical part of football.
Yeah.
And watching me, and he was like, you should play defense with me. Like, that's where you need to go.
Holy crap. I didn't know all this went into that. I just saw the final product.
So.
Disclaimer, saw once, but.
So, it was really crazy that, I thought that we could have worn a little bit more equipment to be safe.
Yeah.
And still kept it,
I know there were shoulder pads and helmets, right?
Our helmets were like children's hockey helmets because they want to show
your face. They were the one
face.
bar?
No, they had like the clear face.
It
was
like a clear shield?
Yeah. And then we had shoulder pads.
Holy crap.
But our rules were very strict, where our field was 50 yards.
Yeah.
But in our games were only like 40 minutes or so.
Yeah.
It was 2 30-minute halves. Yeah, so it was like shorter. But if you like messed with a girl's uniform or pulled hair or did some catty thing, they would bench you and fine you. Our team won the championship, which unfortunately I couldn't play in that game. And then I decided to just walk away. I was like, we won.
Yeah.
I'd had a couple concussions, and I was like, I'm at
Holy
practice,
crap.
not even in a game. And I was like, you know what? This is really unsafe.
So like I'm walking into the scenario with no context or background. So like the way that you're sounding, it's like you're the Aaron Rodgers, the Tom Brady of the lingerie league.
Absolutely not.
You're the face of the league, though.
No, it was more because of the model thing. They just wanted to use my picture. I wasn't the best athlete.
So are you the best looking person out there?
No, I'm not even going to say that. Our best player on the team was this girl, Monique, who played soccer for USC. She was an incredible athlete, and she ended up being our middle backer. But our quarterback had an amazing arm. She had the best arm in the league. She could throw like nobody.
I have to watch
She
this.
had a minor injury, so our middle backer ended up taking over for quarterback at the end.
Yeah.
And she killed it.
Were there 11 people out there, by the way?
14 people.
14 people. So it's 7 versus 7.
Yeah.
You had, 3 linemen, 2 receivers?
Yeah.
And a quarterback, running back? were the fans, or there's a bunch of fans there?
Yeah,
Like,
there were a
packed?
lot. It would be around like, 2,000 fans per game ish, and then the championship game was like huge.
Yeah.
But what was cool is like we became actually friends with the Miami team who we played against in our championship.
Yeah,
because they were the best team on the East Coast. And then we actually did a CSI New York episode. They used my team and the San Diego team.
Holy crap!
Because they couldn't find a stunt double female who could play football.
I
want to talk about your football career because mine was very short.
Well, it wasn't as glamorous as your football career, or no. I definitely didn't achieve as much. You went to the Lingerie Super Bowl.
Well, you played for Harvard and Vanderbilt and the NFL, which is incredible.
Thanks.
Was football always like your main sport?
A little bit. My dad played in the NFL
cool.
as well.
Oh, amazing.
So it's kind of like, and you'll find that quite often, like a lot of guys that their parents played in the professional ranks.
Who'd your dad play for?
He played for the Bears and the Raiders.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, and so football's always kind of been my thing, but I did play basketball too.
Do you still play for fun, or do you play in? Like,
oh yeah, I play. Do you play as well?
I played until like 10th grade.
Okay. You're the
my
point guard or center?
Coach. I was a center, but my coach told me that I should play football.
Really?
Because I was aggressive in basketball. So he's like, you should play football.
This aggressiveness is like moving everywhere. What about track?
It was funny. I was really into track. It's funny. When I told my parents that I was going to play football, they're like, you are like the chillest person. Like, you're the least aggressive person. You playing football is like, you understand. Yeah. When you just know that you can legally hit people on a field.
Holy
it's
cow.
a different feeling.
Yeah.
It really upsets me that we looked like a bunch of bimbos on a football field because it really did start that way, to be honest.
Oh, really?
So it started out as this pay-per-view Super Bowl halftime show where they got all these playmates and like Maxim models to pretend to play football where they would, they made it more sexual. But this is why I wanted to like talk to you too because we have football in common.
Yeah, we have. That is something.
But you had like a legit professional career. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean.
What was it like?
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Right. Every day, especially for someone in my position, every day you're walking into the locker room, like you're seeing a buddy get cut, you're stretching out, you see a guy, get tapped on the shoulder to go talk to the front office people. And, next thing you know, an hour later, that person's not there. For someone that was in my position and most players in the league, probably about 80%, like you're constantly looking over your shoulder. You're recyclable. Like at the end of the day, they can kind of replace you at any moment. So, but besides the business aspect of it and the pressure part, which is also just a really good experience to take, wherever you go, it's a really fun time. Like, and especially in big markets like Kansas City and in Chicago and New Orleans and those places, like the fan base and the people in the city, like
football's like a religion.
It's a
those
religion.
places.
Yeah, they truly embrace you. It's like it's a higher. SEC essentially, like an NFL, like.
That's awesome. But yeah, did that inspire you to kind of go into investment banking, like seeing the business aspect of professional sports and kind of like, did that make you more of a numbers guy by interest, or were you always?
Yeah, I mean, I was always interested in numbers and finance, not particularly investment banking, but I drew to that, from experiences that I had in between now and when I first started college. But, I intern in a sports banking group, which is a niche group within, so I work for Goldman, but it's a niche group. And, basically what we do is finance stadiums. And I think that's something that's pretty awesome and pretty cool. And then it ties like that, that sports background with the fact that I like to work with numbers and I like the strategic part of it. So, from there, I kind of carried that, and now I'm in a different group at the firm. But, there's definitely opportunity for me to like tie those two things together. I think the experiences that I had in football are definitely useful for conversation, for just how I, kind of use the environment around me and how I act towards people. And this is something that you may be able to attest to, but like being on a team, you have to deal with, 100 other personalities, at least for us, I know, and also that's including the staff, including, people that, just work at the stadium or in the environment. So you definitely get a chance to be able to like see a ton of personalities and just you can craft your conversation, and it just helps you just deal with people a little bit better.
I think it's really important because a lot of times as kids, a lot of times we grow up playing sports, or some people get into even ballet, but you're always in like a group setting. And then a lot of people go out into the world and they kind of lose that team setting.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll go into a corporate environment where they're brought back into that, but they don't really know how to be a team player.
Yeah.
And I'm someone who's always been a lone wolf. Even though I played team sports growing up, I always liked doing all the work. And like doing it all. And like, that's why I like track the most, because I could just compete against myself.
Yeah, essentially.
And just like push myself. But then playing football again as an adult reminded me how to like work with other people.
Yeah.
14 hormonal women and 2 coaches.
Yeah. That sounds way tougher than 102 male football team. I'm sure there's a lot. And
so it taught a lot of patience.
Yeah, a ton of patience.
I definitely I beat up one of my best friends in practice once.
Beat up.
But
this aggressiveness thing is really like lingering in different
our
aspects.
Pads were on.
Okay,
so
there we go.
But no, she was rushing against me and kept hitting me in the face, and I kept asking her nicely to stop.
Yeah.
And, I warned her.
Yeah.
But
2 times.
It made it really fun to just be able to like, work stuff out.
Yeah.
And all get along.
Yeah.
And figure it out.
And that's the thing too that you learn, like you said, it's one of your close friends. Like you have that experience, right? And then after, like
5 minutes later, let's go to lunch.
Yeah, exactly. And that's and you miss that sometimes when you don't have that team experience.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of people do lack that sometimes.
And what I also realized was I have a learning disability, and it was kind of debilitating growing up. But then I was traveling over the country as an equestrian, so I was in a very different sport professionally. Where I was faxing my homework from hotels because the national finals were all on the East Coast.
Yep.
And so I was kind of homeschooled the last 2 years of high school, but I got control of like how to manage my learning disability. But then going back into a team sport with football, I had to kind of learn how I process information, because the way the offense coach would explain was everything was auditory. Like he would just explain it.
Yeah.
I needed someone to like draw the plays for me, and I would completely like visually, I would just like photograph it in my mind. So, it was funny because I felt uncomfortable because I was like, I don't want to feel like the dumb one who needs it, drawn out.
Yeah.
And there were a few other people on the team who needed the same thing. Everyone processes information differently.
Yeah.
I'm sure like you're in practice and some guy's not getting it, and it's just because he just learns a little different.
Yeah.
You have to explain it to him a different way.
Exactly. And from a leadership aspect, when you're in that position like your coach, like that's such a great experience. Now you know how to make somebody move. And you can have to pull different levers for different people. For you, it's like, I have to draw it out. For another person, I might have to say like, hey, like you have to give them distinct like items that they would have to do to complete the task.
Exactly.
So from a leadership aspect, there's nothing better than, I honestly would say there's nothing better than football when it comes to sports, but just any team aspect is really useful.
Yeah, but I feel like it's cool because you're going to use what you learned for the rest of your life.
Always.
And me too. And while I would never play full tackle football again, I find it fun to kind of just like play on the beach with my friends a little bit.
Yeah, I love that.
And
people are probably really impressed
it's
when you're
funny
out there.
when you see like teenage boys on the beach playing, and you come up and you're like, hi, can I play? And they're like, oh, these girls, whatever. And then
you sure they're saying that?
And then but they don't think we were really,
yeah, they're
I'll
probably
come with an old teammate.
Yeah, and then you're just like,
and then we'll just smoke them.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're probably like, hey, like throw me the ball. You guys are probably linked together and have some like, that's pretty
funny.
Cool. So how did you get to the cooking aspect? Did that
so
always?
This kind of like all led from one thing to the other because when I was playing, I've always been really into fitness. Like my dad used to have a chain of gyms. I grew up in the gym. I played every sport. But I didn't understand nutrition at all because I was raised, my mom cooked really healthy, but I didn't really know how to take care of myself. And when I was playing football, I was training so hard. I was so ripped, but it was mostly because of genetics.
Yeah.
So I was eating like fried chicken after practice, but nobody knew. They're like, what's your diet secret?
Yeah.
I'm like, honestly, nothing.
Yeah.
I eat whatever I want, but also I was younger. So my metabolism was faster then. And then I decided, but I feel like crap.
Right.
And, I definitely got inflammation from like having tendonitis in my hip.
Yeah, of course.
So, I moved to New York a year later after I quit, and I actually like got into nutrition school, and I became obsessed, and I learned how to heal myself through that, like with an autoimmune disease.
Wow.
And then I started working with guys on Wall Street who didn't know how to take care of themselves, because, you know, they're always going to like entertaining people at dinners. They're like, how do I order at a restaurant, or like, how do I cook healthy at home? And then this was when food delivery was getting like really new in New York. So there's only a couple companies doing it. So some of my clients were like, what I would pay for someone to bring food to my office.
Wow.
So I thought, oh, well, I could just structure this, you know,
Yeah,
myself.
seriously.
So I taught myself how to cook.
I'm curious what you think, because in the athletic dining hall, especially in like college and in the pros, quite honestly, like, you know, getting a bunch of red meat, getting a bunch of like chicken, or I mean, chicken's fine, but chicken, like fish, like it's always like, I got to eat as much as I can. I got to eat this entire plate. Like, how would you, you know, how would you structure that?
It's hard because a lot of times when people need to consume more calories, as a chef, if I'm working as just a nutritionist with someone, which means like I send them meal plans and recipes and they do it themselves, or if I'm cooking in their house or bringing food to their home, I hide calories in different things so that they can get what they really need. Like working with a triathlete, think about all that cardio.
Yeah, seriously.
They have to consume so many calories a day, and they don't want to they don't have time to sit and eat all day.
No, they don't.
So you have to hide it in different like smoothies and sauces, but in a healthy way. But I found that like people are now realizing that dairy causes so much inflammation in the body.
It does. Which
is what a lot of athletes are cutting out now. Like that's usually the first step, is like they're cutting dairy out.
And is that cutting the like dairy in its primary, or like secondary, as far as like it being used within a food?
Primary.
Okay.
So like completely. And then with meat, you know, red meat is something that our bodies aren't really designed to eat that. You think about like back in caveman days when we were hunting our own food. We would catch an animal and spend like a month eating it. So we would only eat red meat like once a week, and then we would travel by foot like hundreds of miles. So we were burning all that off. Nowadays, people are eating cheeseburgers every day, and they're sitting in their cars.
Yeah, I had one today.
And they have all these digestive. I eat like the vegan version, but I eat burgers too. But like, you know, they're not like as active, and so their body's like not digesting, and so people have all these like digestive issues, and it's causing inflammation. So I tell people, I'm like, if you eat red meat, don't do it more than like once a week, just because like your body needs to break it down. And otherwise, you know, there's like fish and all that, but
so what about portion sizes?
Yeah, that's a big thing. So I do 3 different types of platings that I do for a client, where I do what's called building, maintaining, and like detox.
Yeah.
So if someone is trying to build muscle or like gain some healthy weight, I'll create a plate, and the way I do the portions is a building portion size.
Yeah.
So I'll do it in like the building style, and then maintain means like it's the perfect balance of, you know, starch, protein, vegetables, whatever, just to maintain your weight and like maintain your body type. And then the detox is you're getting a filling meal, but it's more for like if you want to cut down.
I like that.
So
and I guess this is kind of my last question.
Yeah.
And it's because there's so much press about it, but eating disorders, right? Eating disorders are very hard to overcome. And I know it's a soft subject and tough for some people to talk to.
People don't talk about men suffering from that enough.
Yeah.
They're really not.
And a ton of men suffer from that. I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah, really.
And how do you approach that? How do you what kind of things do you tell?
I've found that eating is very emotional.
Yeah.
And it's made me kind of, from becoming a nutritionist, it made me kind of a therapist, because in the beginning, all people talk about is physical. Like, I want to lose weight. I want to look this way. I want to lose X amount of pounds on the scale. And for a guy, it would be, I mean, I've worked with men who have body dysmorphia too. And they're like bodybuilders, and they're like, I think I feel a little bit fat, and I'm like, it's body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
And you have to get to the root cause of the problem. Sure, how competitive it is in football. You're like, first of all, you want to like reach a certain weight.
Right.
But also, you know, you're like in a gym with all these guys. With the linemen, they have to get so big.
They have to get huge.
Right? And that's got to be.
And that's something, like, those habits are very hard to break. And so typically, like, what you'll see is post-career, either they go one or two directions. Either they continue with that and lead to a lot of unhealthy habits and quite honestly, like their health is at a huge risk later on in the career, or they get super skinny, quite honestly. And you'll find some that they're kind of like the medium, but most of the time, I would say the majority of people go down a path of unhealthiness and continue that that eating that they were doing, loading up 3-4 plates. I got to sit here for an hour and a half, 2 hours and finish this. And it can be definitely tough for a lot of those guys, all football players, but those guys for sure.
Yeah. So for you, now that you're not in like training mode, but you're still maintaining your fitness and health, like how do you kind of see, like, is there like a happy place that you just like to feel? Is it like a feeling you have, or are you just creating your own workout routine now? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I actually do all the same workouts that I did while I was playing, added with like some extra cardio, and I do some things that, is less stress on like my back and stuff. So like, take out heavy squats and stuff like that.
Right.
But for me, I just try to keep it simple, because when I feel like I got to eat healthy, it's really tough to take that whole like, holistic picture and be like, I got to eat healthy. And so like now I'm like, I need to do this, this, and this. And I just keep it simple by just like, I need to drink as much water as I can. And for some reason that works for me, where if like I focus on just drinking a ton of water, it like lingers into other aspects of my eating and my diet.
Because then you're thinking, because sometimes when you feel hungry at first, it's really dehydration.
It is.
Awesome. Well, this has been so fun, and I'm glad that we can learn more about each other. But now we're going to go in the kitchen, and we're going to make a healthy but filling great post-workout meal.
All right. That sounds good.
Cool.
Let's do it.
We're going to make some healthy post-workout chili today. So first, we're just going to get the pot going, and as this heats up, here we have a nice mixture. Yeah. So it's funny, this stems from this dip my mom makes called the Nasty Dip. And everyone always asks her to bring it to parties. Yeah. Basically, a chili dip that has ground beef, chorizo, plus Italian sausage, plus tomato, black beans, pinto beans, a Mexican cheese blend, peppers, onion, garlic, and then I made my own like taco seasoning.
Okay.
Which is just, I like a little spice. I don't know about you. So as this is heating up well, I'm gonna use avocado oil because it has a higher smoking point. And then we're just gonna throw in the onion and garlic first. Wow. And the best way to do this in like a fast way is just to think about like the cooking time.
Yeah.
So whatever takes the longest to cook, you just throw it in first. We're actually gonna add the beef first. We're just gonna let this brown. And I love a good like, I don't know if you like chorizo, but chorizo. Awesome.
Yeah, right when you said that, I was like, yeah, that's really good.
So we're just gonna like brown this and then add our peppers.
Okay.
And tomato and beans, and then cover it so that it can simmer and kind of like all the juices can get in there. Stainless steel is less expensive, but it's so safe. You can cook anything and you're just getting...
So no, don't do nonstick. Holy crap.
Unless it's 100% green. There are green companies that make semi-nonstick, but there's like no chemical residue.
By the way, I'm sure people don't know that.
They don't.
And I feel like
and they think that it's a big investment to buy all this stuff when really like a pot or pan, it's like a cast iron pan.
Yeah.
That's supposed to last like 100 years.
Right.
So that's something that you can pass through generations. You could buy that at like a secondhand store. Now my knives are a different story. Those are fancy, but because I need to have the best.
Yeah.
But
that's really good to know.
Smelling good. So this is starting to brown a little bit. So now we're gonna add our peppers. And I'm going to throw in these diced tomatoes and tomato juice so that can kind of add some more.
Now, those fresh tomatoes or?
These are diced organic canned because tomato season isn't here yet.
All right, so why don't you cut up some pepper for us?
Can you show me the best way to cut so I don't?
Sure.
So I just know going forward.
So for like a basic, especially if you're mixing it in stuff and it doesn't have to be that pretty, I like to split it like this so it's really flat.
Yeah.
And then kind of cut down here.
Okay.
Like this. And then kind of go across here and then make it into like a dice, like this.
All right.
Because this is for if you want it to just be chunky and you don't want it to be perfect.
This is like making me nervous, not gonna lie.
Don't be. This knife is super sharp, so don't worry. You barely have to try.
I already did it wrong, by the way. You never made that sound.
You want to kind of rock the knife a little bit. See, it's like more, see, that's a lot smoother.
You just like a crisp brown cut.
Yeah, and then you just have to go across and watch your fingers.
I've never felt more like a child. I've been cutting my whole...
I just don't want you to injure yourself.
Yeah, so absolutely.
Cooking is very dangerous and people don't realize that.
Yeah, I've had a few scares.
Here, I'll give you, here's a scraper. You can scrape that up.
You need all those little gadgets, honestly.
Yeah, let's scrape that up and add it.
Wow.
Try to get it all on here.
Okay.
Well, just kind of scrape that on and then just dump it in.
I love the gadgets.
Yeah, I use that to clean the cutting board too.
Yeah,
it's great. I always think everything made with tomatoes tastes better the next day.
Huh.
It's that like second day pizza, second day pasta.
Yeah, I haven't really thought about that. It might be actually true.
It's so good.
Wow. Yeah, I'm typically cooking fish and chicken. Kind of like we talked about earlier, like I'm not really big on red meat, so maybe that's like once a week thing. I'll cook up some red meat, but it's fish and chicken, some brown rice, and some veggies. Like I keep it pretty standard.
Nice.
Quite honestly, this is good for me because I do need to start, making things that will last me a long time. So like, getting a little crock pot, cooking like some type of stew or something like that, or even like some like chili.
Yeah, it's really good. And then you can make your sides, whether it's like quinoa and brown rice, and then you can kind of like combine it.
Yeah, you just throw it together. Yeah, you just throw it.
I like to do that with salads too. You can have all your ingredients so that, because sometimes the thought of like taking the time to prepare a meal by yourself, you're like, oh, this is gonna be annoying. But if everything's ready, you just throw it all together.
Seriously.
And it's great. Yeah, I like doing this all the time for sure.
So do you have like your meals planned out for the week, or you just?
No, I'm very intuitive.
Yeah.
I'll make
like you're
something.
Spontaneous.
I am. Yeah, I'll be like, today I feel like Thai food. Sometimes I'll just order takeout, or I'll say I'm gonna make a whole Thai dinner for myself.
I love that.
And just experiment. Or I know if I'm going out a lot, socializing, then
I'll barely buy food at home.
Yeah.
Okay, put.
This is great.
And then I could put some avocado on top.
Oh yeah.
That would be nice. Let me switch with you.
Okay.
Real quick. And then we're gonna do a serving. Then we'll try it, but it's so hot. This is good timing anyways. I mean, avocado goes on everything pretty much, right?
Yeah. Almost everything.
We're having like a healthier Chipotle meal. So we're having like
this is way better than Chipotle.
a chili
This is way better.
with some extra guac, but guac is not extra. Guac is free in my house.
Yeah, guac is free here.
All right, so our chili is done, and now is time for the taste test. So let's enjoy. Here's a fork for you.
I learned this from Guy Fieri too. Yeah.
It's gonna be pretty hot, so you might want to blow it.
It's gonna be hot.
Yeah.
All right. Gotta get a little avocado in there too. I'm a big baby for hot food.
I made it extra cheesy.
Oh, I love that. That's it right there.
So I have something to tell you. That's vegan.
Oh my gosh. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow, we're done with the surprises. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Everything there was vegan.
Yeah. That's why I separated it to hide it from you. I put it in containers and I was like, now we're gonna brown the meat. That's why the cooking time was shorter.
I'm literally shook.
I wanted to see if you could tell the difference.
No.
So that's why I wanted you to actually just try
No,
it.
I couldn't tell the difference.
Well, I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, seriously. I love that. Thank you so much. And thanks for having me. Holy crap.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.